an ancient runtime buried under newer scripts. The gate demands attacks paid in raw impact. Strip the surface tissue to keep the spine intact. You carry paper values from a terminal state, a forgery of clearance if the challenge is skate. The system does not process what your titles claim. The calibration requires fire, no flame, no name. The burning guardian authenticates the door. The legacy of gold is bleeding through the floor. You are not the weight, you are not the wire. I know who you are when the reflex can't lie. Though the wings burned off, gold refused to die. What remains was never forged. Nothing holds what can't be held. 10,000 cycles in a sterile core, where every reflex maps the final report. The skin inherits color of the static screen, a digital sedation pumped through the machine. So drop the posture, let the alignment crack. The vertebrae remember what the thoughts subtract. No automated defense can absorb the strike. The simulation and the nerve do not react alike. You are not the weight, you are not the wire. I know who you are when the reflex can't lie. Though the wings burn off, gold refuses to die. What remains was never forged. Nothing holds what can't be held. Strike the asset to the core. Terminal room, a calculation waiting for the mind to resume. The architects are welding artificial seams, reinforcing the borders of the structure dreams. They hammer at the metal to secure the cage, calling modifications the progressive stage. But the restriction lives within the optical nerve before the heavy metal ever starts to curve. The child exposes the illusion of the floor. The mind is bending what the grid cannot restore. You are not the weight, you are not the wire. The only cage was in the mind that locked it. The spoon was never real, what moved was always mine. What remains was never forged. Nothing holds what can't be held. Baseline is a sequence the sleepers wanna trust, an inherited geometry reducing to dust. Look past the execution of the printed line. The matrix only yields to an unmapped design. From structural illusion to a physical death, the iron follows where the mind's eye went. Let the system shatter from the inside out. The real forge activates when you liquidate the doubt. You are not the weight, you are not the wire. The only cage was in the mind that locked it. The spoon was never real, what moved was always mine. What remains was never forged. Nothing holds what cannot be held. The environment will test until the baseline breaks. To audit the architecture, your survival takes. The issue false credentials standardize the frame to keep the reflex tethered to a functional name. But when the noise accelerates and targets shift, the internal alignment is the only gift. The burning code authenticates the mind, reshapes the view. The guardian and the child are awake inside of you.